Welcome to the Blue Rush Podcast. It's our Giants podcast from the New York Post. We don't have a guest today. The team flew back right after the game, but you know they caught that dub today, and we've got you covered on the game from across the pond as the Giants beat the Packers in London. I'm Brandon London. You all knew that. London back in London. I'm here with my co-host, the Scotsman, two-time Super Bowl champion, kicker, Lawrence Tynes. He's back in London as well. It's time to talk the Giants 27-20 dub over the Packers. First and foremost, LT, we gotta state the obvious. When we did predictions, we both both said the Packers were going to win. But let us explain.
That was based on information we had at the time.
Bad intel.
And Lord have mercy. And Paul, he's worked his tail off all week.
Yep.
He's not here. He said they were going to get blown out based off the intel we had.
Threw him under the bus.
Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. The Giants outthrew them and outrushed them today. An Aaron Rodgers-led offense versus a bunch of guys who stepped up today. They've played good. Today was a game where a lot of guys made a name for themselves in terms of, he didn't have anybody. I know you see the tweets out there post-game. Who was on the field with Daniel Jones? I mean, Sills and some practice squad guys and guys just stepping up in big moments. And when you don't turn the ball over, and neither team did, you have a chance to win. But I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with this win, obviously for a lot of reasons. But 4-1 for this organization and fan base is about as good as it can get, through 5 games.
Now, before we get into it, talk about why you're impressed with this win. You again, two-time Super Bowl champion, been around this organization. You know the ethos. You know the Giant way. Now they got a whole remix to it with Brian Dable, Joe Shane. Talk about why you are impressed with this win, because the entire fan base is feeling what you're feeling right now.
Oh, I think it's because, Daniel Jones has been heavily criticized. And certainly those are never going to go away. As your quarterback in New York Football Giants, you're always going to be criticized. Eli was, Phil Simms was, you name it. But what he's done in the last 4 weeks, give or take, is I'm not going to put too many big words on it, but he's showing everybody who he is in terms of, what kind of player he can be with not a lot of, and I don't want to diminish any of the guys out there playing, but receiver-wise, Slayton stepped up, and that was great to see today because I think we talked about him on our show. He needs those touches, and his confidence is going to be through the roof next week. But Saquon did his thing again today, but there's just guys making grimy little 6-yard plays, blocking on the outside. But confidence to me, Brandon, as you know, is the most important thing for any NFL team. Because, listen, the matchups are the matchups, the speed, the height, the weight, the jump, and that's all the same. Every team you play against, but the confidence that this football team should have and has earned is what they haven't had in many, many years. So that's what I'm excited about moving forward. And again, this was a big win, a hostile environment. You were there, God almighty. It was loud, and Packers Nation was in full effect, man. I felt like I was in Lambeau for a little while.
You said I was there. You were there. I saw you. I didn't get a chance to go and hug you and take a picture with you because running around doing some stuff for the NFL and the Irish NFL show.
But it was loud, right? Don't you agree?
It was all Packers. It was all Packers.
Yeah,
it was Let's Go Pack.
I agree.
All I heard was Let's Go Pack the entire time.
Go Pack, go.
I got in there
the whole game.
I took the Uber. I got in there and had to walk like a
long way.
It was a long little walk in my little joggers, my little skinny joggers. But all you heard the entire time was "Let's Go Pack," and even when I tried to film some stuff with the NFL and the NFL UK, it was almost like I didn't want to be a little punk and ask them to quiet down so we can get some "Let's Go Giants" chats outside the stadium. But that's just what it was. We walked into a hostile environment. And when you're saying you had guys step up and you're saying practice squad, I get you're not trying to diminish nobody. I'm a practice squad guy. I was with the organization on this practice squad. Marcus Johnson, 3 for 35, huge catches. Richie James, 2 for 16. Wasn't anything crazy, but one of those was a huge first down. Saquon 3 for 36. Darius Slayton, who I talked to back in late August when everyone, the media, and
Buried him.
Trade him. Oh, we can trade him to the Ravens for this and that. He told me he's walking from practice and he had a decent practice that day. And I go, what up, 8-6? I'm like, how you fit? It's your comeback. You're coming back. He goes, it's gonna be a hell of a story, I can tell you that. So that's 6 for 79 with 13.2 yards per catch.
Huge.
It's I don't know how to describe this win, Tynes LT. I don't know how to describe it, but what I can tell you, it's a culture win. It's a shift in the culture. Leaving the game today, I'm on the family bus, and I'm talking to I'm not going to throw names. I'm talking to Giants personnel, decision makers, high ups. We don't win that game last year.
You're not even in that game last year.
You're not even in that. Down 10 against Aaron Rodgers. I would have walked across to the pub and just had some fish and chips and had me a nice little burger.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The Giants. Here's what the Giants have to do moving forward. They were a cute story, if you want to say that, through 3 weeks.
Yep.
They're a playoff contender right now, whether you like it or not. That's what they are. They're 4-1 through 5 games. Think about that. They're 4-1, and they beat Green Bay, not in Lambeau, but like we talked about. That was a hostile environment. I was in those stands, and there was 7 Packers fans for every Giant fan.
Yep. Yeah.
Literally. There was some noise made. Obviously, you have the neutral fans there from all the teams, which makes this game so fun and great. But having said that, the Giants are going to play in a lot more of these games moving forward, and they're not a cute story anymore. They're 4-1, and they're a good football team. And I think they believe that now. I really do. You come out here and win. It's a tough trip for anybody. Go back home, rest up, play another good team next week. But this is what you want to play for every week, these tough games, these big games. So people will take notice. I'm glad, most importantly, that Darius Slayton had a good game. And, he had the PI last week that got him a big play. But we always knew he could do this. And as you know, as a receiver, it's just confidence and touches. Like he needed touches, like a 1-yard catch. Okay, good. I know how to catch the ball again. All right, now give me my 8-yarder. Now give me my 22. And he was cooking them DBs. Like he was open a lot more times today because I watched him a lot because I was in the stands. I was in a kind of corner end zone seat. And I got to watch.
You had good seats. You had good seats.
Was cooking people. And I know a lot of the stuff wasn't meant to go to him every time. But, man, he had a great game. And that's only going to build him mentally as he moves forward. And it's a big, big deal because he came in at the perfect time when the team needed him the most, and he showed up. So that's a big,
and I think the best
thing.
part about the play calling when it comes to getting a guy like that, his touches, getting his confidence back, was you didn't just see a straight go route. Last week, put the speed on tape. Through the first one, it was a DPI. Second one was an INT. That's all they had drawn up for him. This week, couple stop routes. He had a deep cross off the
deep crossers,
overs off of the play action, where he got the 18 to 22, was QB friendly, shaved it off against a good corner. And you're just seeing them finding ways to get guys the ball, and they believe in their players. And I'm not just saying that, bro. Like when y'all listen to this podcast, I don't want y'all to think like, oh, you guys used to play for them, or Brennan, you do some social media stuff and hype the crowd up. We're not just talking like that. That's why we went, and that's why we said the Packers were going to win this game, because we took the media aspect of it instead of our feelings. But talking to the players in the locker room, and I saw Paul in the locker room, he was running all over the place, doing interviews and stuff like that. So Paul, shout out to Paul Schwartz with what he does. But talking to Marcus Johnson, who only 3 for 35, but you get brought up off the practice squad. And I'm like, talk to those 2 big catches you had on that drive, 2 big first downs. And he had himself his own little deep cross. He goes, those were drawn up plays for me. Mike Kafka, Brian Dable, whoever draws it up, whoever an install. Do you know, Giants fans, do y'all know that feeling when they draw a play up for you? When they say an install, this is for you, cut your split down. Hey, get vertical, make sure you shave it off, especially on the rollout when Daniel Jones could have hit the flat, could have hit a couple guys, but he was looking for Marcus Johnson, number 84, because I didn't know who he was either at first.
Right.
So he says they called it up. They called it for him. So I'm like, yo, what were you feeling when they drew it up during the week? How did it feel? It feels great knowing that the coaches have played, they got confidence in you, blah, 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 blah. But it's one thing times when you got it drawn up for you in the meetings and practice, but then they don't get to it during the game. But Jair Alexander, who is the Packers' #1 DB and one of the top DBs in the NFL, was on him on that deep crosser for that first down catch he had. It was an 18, 20-yard catch. And I'm like, how do you feel when they call it in the locker room? I mean, in the huddle. And he's like, I had to get my mind right. It's an unreal feeling, when they call it during install. But then when you get it during the game, especially being a practice squad guy getting bumped up, and
that's
then
big
you
time.
put the rock on it, they're finding ways to get the replaceables or the replacements the ball and put them in great situations, not only offensively, but defensively as well. And you don't see that from most NFL teams.
No, you don't see coaches giving young kids like that a chance, but they've almost been forced to, right? The reality of that position on this team is we have to find players that can produce. And Kafka, to his credit, Dable, to his credit, they're giving guys chances. Not a lot of coaches would do that, but obviously he's on the practice squad for a reason. There's people don't understand. There is a very fine difference between a Pro Bowl player and a practice squad player, and I say that with a ton. Like, I'm not bullshit here. Like,
not at all.
There is not a big difference between a Pro Bowl player and a practice squad player. There really is. Consistency maybe, but skill wise, talent wise, it's all there. That it's exciting for young players like that because, again, what's that? Next week, Marcus is going to play with more confidence if he's up and dressed and he gets a suit. I'm not going to talk about the guys that weren't there. I don't think they deserve any kind of any time that we're talking about. Let's talk about the guys that did play, and kudos to them, man. What a coaching job. Like, let's talk about Dable and the Wink, and I was upset in the first half because we down in the red zone down there, we came at them with like 7 DBs, and Aaron Rodgers, the wily vet, just handed the ball off. It was 6 or 7 DBs and just 4 down. Yep. And I'm going, what are we doing? Were we going to force him to pass? I get it, but Aaron Rodgers is not dumb. So he just handed to AJ 5 yards. But that's why I don't coach, because he frustrated him at some point. They did end up scoring on that drive, and I don't know if they went back to that package in the second half, but the 7 DB look was something that I don't think maybe Aaron's seen all year. Not a lot of coaches are going to throw 7 DBs out there with 4 down and say, but they did. We outrushed them and we outthrew them, which says a lot about Brian Dable and this coaching staff, because they deserve a ton of credit for getting a depleted roster to come over here 3,000 miles and play a football game and win it and beat a good Packer team.
Let's get into some of the numbers, because we know a lot of y'all fans are stat guys and numbers guys and all the PFFs and the analytics and all that stuff. So let's get into the numbers. Total yards, Packers 301, Giants 338. Passing yards, Packers 207, Giants 213. Rushing yards, Packers 94, Giants 125. First downs, Packers 22, Giants 24. Third down efficiency, Packers 4 for 10, Giants 6 for 11.
That's right. That's your ball game.
We got bad intel when it came to picking this.
We had no idea. We thought it was going to be Webb or some form of Webb and a practice squad kid they were going to sign. So, had I known if DJ was playing 1,000%,
Oh
I
my
probably
God.
would have picked him just because I want to give him some flowers real quick. He made some big time NFL throws today, outside the numbers, down the middle, and he was climbing in the pocket. I haven't seen him do that. You haven't seen him. He's kind of used to throw off that back foot high. Man, he was throwing with some authority. He missed Slayton early. I think there was one deep eight, whatever that deep. He missed him. He was a little bit behind him, but Slayton wasn't really looking for the football either. But other than that, man, he balled and he's getting more confident. Same with Daniel. Like he is, he's 5 weeks into this offense plus a training camp. He's only going to get more. He's only going to get better, and they're going to keep putting more on his plate when they can bring in some more weapons and do some more stuff. The screen game, those first 2 drives were ugly early. Ugly. But I didn't panic. They obviously didn't panic. Defensively, a ton of guys played great. Adoree Jackson continues to come up and hit people like he weighs 240, which is crazy to me. I saw him take one from AJ Dillon today, and I was like, yeah, let's not do that again. Because he's not the biggest guy in the world.
No.
But they compete on defense, man. They really do. Jahad Ward, what can you say about this kid? Man, he's the spark plug. He is the everything. Like he does everything, the dirty, grimy edge, juice, energy. Like Jahad Ward is, man, he is on his way to playing, to a long-term contract for this team.
And the crazy part about it, someone who doesn't watch Giants football would be like, what are you talking about? He only had 1 tackle on the day. But did you see him set the edge? Did you see how physical he was to open up lanes for safeties to come down, or corners, or whoever the force player is? Like if it's sky coverage, sky, ladies and gentlemen, means that the safety has the force. That's S. Cloud means that the corner has the force. That's the C. He was opening up, or he was either boxing or spilling to allow guys to come up and make plays. So let's talk about defense. Let's go to the defense. Julian Love, who we didn't even think was going to play. They signed Landon Collins as trying to add a safety, led the team 5 tackles. Adoree Jackson, 4 tackles. Dexter Lawrence. And I hate calling another grown man sexy, but sexy.
I know, me too. But he gets it. I'll call him sexy as long as he keeps playing like that.
Sexy Dexy had the huge sack. Nick McLeod, be honest, Tynes, did you know who Nick McLeod was before this game?
Nope.
Absolutely not. Talk to him.
I thought it was like a seasonal drink at McDonald's, like the McLeod. You can get that like, I don't know, Christmas or something. No, I'm just playing.
The McRib and the McLeod is back.
The McFlurry. We got the McLeod.
Yeah.
Moreau played good. Moreau played good. We said he would play good.
Yep. Yeah.
I know he got hurt, but I hope it's not too bad.
O'Shane Zimenez, who a lot of people have been on, 2 tackles, 1 sack, especially that hit at the end when we're talking about Aaron Rodgers on a Hail Mary. The game's not over.
Oh my gosh. I know. I kept thinking about it. We've all seen it. He's done it like 3 or 4 times. So it's like, we don't need to see that again.
But you've been around, and I'm not going to go too far. You've seen championships. You've been in these locker rooms. So defensively, if you got some guys who, again, everyone calls the Giants roster the replacements, in a sense. We're waiting for Shane Falco to show up. You've seen it. Every guy talks about being the next man up. And, most of the time you hear that it's just player talk, coaches talk. But these guys really buy into Wink Martindale and what it is he's trying to do. And it's just from a Fabian Moreau to a Nick McLeod stepping in, making plays. There's just something in the water. There's something in the Gatorade Light or the G2 or whatever it is. But he's got these guys playing above and beyond what people expect them to be.
Yeah, that's just great coaching. It's what we had. When coaches give players responsibility and confidence, and then not only that, but then they say, "Hey, you're going to go play," like they told them during the week. The confidence, the trust that all these players have, they know they're going to get on the field. That magnifies itself. It multiplies in a locker room because everybody contributed. Everybody that made the trip today contributed to this win somehow, some way. A cool moment today on the field. DJ Davison, the young defensive tackle, goes down on a punt cover. It was a punt cover, and Jihad Ward went out there and seemed like 5 minutes, 6 minutes with them before the cart came and got him. And I don't know what that does to you, but like when I see that, like that's why Jihad Ward is Jihad Ward. And you can see why his teammates love him. That was a cool moment, and I hate it for DJ, but hopefully, it's not too bad. But when a cart comes out, it's never a good sign. But I just wanted to make sure we pointed that out today because outside of the score and the touchdowns, like that's important. But that's what that locker room. That's what that locker room is now. Like you can tell that locker room has a brotherhood, a camaraderie, which is the number one thing you need. Talent is one thing, but if you don't care about you have to care about what your teammate next to you is doing more than what you do. So I thought that was a really cool moment for him today. And like I said, I hope he's okay.
I tell a lot of the fans their why is different this year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Coach Coughlin used to say no and no, when it came to the playbook, but then also being a coach's son, your why, playing for the next man. And I tweeted that when I tweeted that picture of him taking that knee and being right there by his teammate. So when we're walking into the locker room after the game as media, Hottie, which is what they call Hottie's yelling, nope. Then first someone yells, yo, whoop, whoop, media's here. But then Hottie's like, nah, stay on that side, because they know it's like they've built that us against the world mentality. And when you playing for the next guy, it's not about my contract. It's not about what's going to happen. My agent says I should be getting more. I'm gonna take these reps and I'm going to run with it. And again, today we saw a culture change. We are seeing culture changes when it comes. I tweeted a video, Coach Dable running in the locker room. Yo, it's got like darn near like 800,000. ESPN hit me up asking me if they can use it. Sports Illustrated hit me up. Brian Dable is yelling, let's effing go.
Oh, yeah. I saw it. I retweeted it.
Come on.
That's juice.
The JU Ice, man. The JU Ice.
The JU Ice. We need that. Winning is obviously a lot of fun. And the Giants have not obviously had much of it. But, I mean, Brian Dable's just different, man. Like, he's different than Shermer. He's different than McAdoo. He's different than Judge. Like, they found the right guy. And as you know, in this business, it's fleeting. So I don't want to give him all the flowers in the world. But, like, this guy, what he's done in 5 weeks with this football team and this roster.
This football team?
Is incredible. He has made guys believe that maybe there's probably guys in that locker room that didn't think they were that good. And now they do. That is a coaching of all coaching, teaching, getting players to believe, getting your students to believe they can do that math problem or you can overcome. Like, there was guys in that locker room that probably didn't think they were that good that know they're good now because they have people that believe in them. And that's all you can do, man. And then when you do that, it's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous because this team, they had no idea what to think when the season started. And now they believe. 4-1 is right now, you put them in the mix as one of the top 10 teams in the league. And that's where you have to put them.
And some people won't when it comes to the power rankings.
That's fine.
Because they're going to be like, oh, well, they still don't have this, or they still don't. Sometimes you just can't account for the JU Ice. Final thoughts,
JUIC.
Tynes. Final thoughts, because we both got early flights in the morning, guys.
Early
Hey, Giants
birds.
fans, we're live in London right now. It's late.
Live.
We had ourselves a time. Shout out to
Great
all the
time.
Giants fans from Scotland, Ireland,
Everywhere.
Germany, UK. Had a dope time. Tynes, close
Oh,
us
yeah.
out, man, because it's been a
I
great
mean, I
couple
don't know
days.
how many times this week I heard, is that Lawrence Tynes over there? Is that you, Lawrence? It was a lot of fun, man. These people are passionate about football. I'm going to close it out. I don't need to give game ball. I need to give a game ball to the entire organization for coming across the pond, which is not easy, and beating a really good football team. That's what they did. And so kudos to everybody that got a suit, everybody that practiced last week, practice squad, P squad, looks for everybody that was an organizational win to come over here and beat a really good Packer team that has a really good defense. And so proud of them. And listen, I think when you win, it just keeps getting bigger. Next week's bigger. So that's what you want, though. When you play in this league, you want every game to matter, and the Giants are playing football that matters.
Like, it would have been amplified a little bit more at a Green Bay, and times you've been there. You've kicked the hearts out of Packers fans and stuff. So you can probably let me shut up in a little bit and you get there. But at the same time, it's you go out, the play that's called is the play that's called, no matter where it's at. I got to run the route that I have to run the route. I have to catch that ball regardless. But you're seeing from this team, no matter what, whether you're on the road in Tennessee, no matter you're down against the Carolina Panthers or you're battling out with the Chicago Bears, they're just finding a way. So regardless if they're in London or maybe they're at Lambeau, I just see that this team fighting and clawing to get that W, and that's just they're gritty. They gritty. They don't need to hit the gritty but they are gritty.
Yeah, it's a fair question. It's hard to explain. Like today felt like Lambeau Field. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
It was loud in there, and there was a lot of green. And it was almost like if they weren't Giants fans, they were cheering against them.
Yep.
For whatever reason, and that's fine because it made it all the more sweet. But yeah, I think this team is tough, man. They're gritty. They do a lot of things right. They don't turn the ball over. And when this team starts getting turnovers on the defensive side, I mean, they're going to start blowing people out, is how I see it. I mean, no picks again, no turnovers. That's impressive stuff, what they're doing in terms of the turnover margin. And they're winning by small margins if you add up all the points, how much they've scored, how much they've given up. But that's the NFL in general. Every game's 3 points. So I would like to say, we can't answer it, but I would like to say today they were the better team today. So they would have won in that parking lot. They would have won in that parking lot outside. Yeah.
Daniel Jones outplayed Aaron Rodgers, and let's just leave it at that.